In the last section, we spoke about how we can somewhat fix this issue of tiling and making sure we don't have too much space here by using the grid row end rule. But we really need to specify a grid row end value depending upon the height of each individual image. So to solve this, we're going to create a new React component. This React component is going to be responsible for rendering one single image at a time. Once the image is rendered, this component is going to figure out how large the image is and then adjust this grid row end rule to accommodate for that image size. Now in practice, it's going to be a little bit more easy than it sounds. Essentially what we need to do right now is create a new component that's going to render each individual image, as opposed to the straight image tag that we're using right now. So inside of my code editor, I'm going to find my components directory, and inside there, I'm going to make a new file called imagecard.js. So the purpose of this component right here is to show one image by itself. Let's just focus on that for right now, and then once we figure out how to do that, we'll then figure out how to do like the auto adjustment of the grid row end stuff. So inside of imagecard, I'm going to import React from React, and then I'll make a new class called imagecard that extends react.component. Then inside of here, we'll start simple for right now. I'll say that this thing has a render method. It's going to return a div, and inside that div, I'm going to put my image tag. Now we're going to specify a alt property and a source on this thing as well at the same time. So I'll do an alt. We will assume that our image object is going to be passed to the image card as a prop called image. So to specify the alt property, as we did before inside of image list, where we use the description, I will say this.props.image.description. And then for the source, I will do, let me do a new line here because this is definitely going to be a very long tag. And I'll do a source of this.props.image.urls.regular. And then finally at the bottom, I will export default image card, like so. All right, I know I'm putting this code together very quickly here, but all we're doing is creating a new component that right now is showing a div with an image inside of it. This component expects to be passed a prop of our image object, or the thing that we got back from that Unsplash API, as a prop called image. So let's save this thing. We'll flip back over to the image list file, and we're going to use this image card inside of our list as opposed to the current straight image tag that you see right here. So I'm now inside of image list. I'm going to collapse my sidebar so we can see this more easily. At the top, I will import image card from image card. And then right here, rather than doing the plain image, we'll do image card. And now we do not need to pass in the alt description or the alt prop. We do not need to pass in the src. All we need to pass in is the image itself. So no longer am I going to do destructuring right here. I'm going to return it to its original form where we were receiving the entire image object. And I'm going to pass that image in as a prop called image. And then finally, I need to fix up the ID right here. We still need to provide a key. And so now the ID is going to come from image.id, because as I said, we are no longer destructuring the ID property out of that thing. Okay, so now we should now be able to save this and then flip back over to our browser, and we should still be able to see a list of images. Awesome, looks like we are. All right, and then very quickly, I just want to make sure we don't have any errors or warnings. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so we've now got kind of feature parity here by creating this new component. Let's continue working on this thing because we got a couple more things to do. Now, the first thing I know without a doubt, I can tell you right now, we're going to have to refer to this image object several times inside of this render method. So rather than referring back to it with this.props.image over and over, let's destructure out just the properties we care about off of this.props.image, as we did before back over here inside of our map function. So inside my render method, I'll say const description and URLs, and that's going to come from this.props.image. And now inside of this tag right here, I can reduce it down to just description and down to just urls.regular. Okay, I'll save, and it looks like we get condensed to that right there. Okay, so this looks pretty good. let's take a quick pause. When we come back to the next section, we're going to add a little bit more code to our image card to make it look just a little bit better, and we'll start to focus on adding in all of that grid auto rows and the grid row end and all that good stuff. So quick pause, and I'll see you in just a minute.